Guys, I won't lie, I'm not only disappointed, I'm really baffled and a little bit angry too.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters.
Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters. But the problem is that this felt more like the really bad blockbusters from the 90s. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought that in this day and age a movie like this, a $125 million heavy tentpole production with names like Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe attached, could be this bad. We are talking Van Helsing bad. We are talking The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen bad. We are talking Roland Emmerich's Godzilla bad. It's even more baffling when you consider the idea that this is the movie they want to kickstart their so-called dark universe with. I was super curious to see it. What will they do with the material? How will they start their franchise, bring all the monsters together, combine horror and action? Well, they fail miserably, but you know me, I always go in expecting something cool and entertaining, and even if there are flaws, I'm looking for stuff that's working. But there's almost nothing working in this giant misfire. And that's coming from someone who is pretty much into everything this movie tries to combine. I'm a big fan of the Universal classic monster movies. I know almost all the Hammer Studio productions, and I'm very open to the idea of a shared universe because I'm a fan of the MCU. And on top of that, I think Tom Cruise is an amazing screen presence. And since it came up in the comments under each and every trailer Universal put out, I think the Brendan Fraser movie is cool. We watched it just last weekend, but it's not the holy grail of mummy movies. But fun fact, Brendan Fraser is still younger today than Tom Cruise. Which brings me to one major problem of the movie. It's not that he's in it, like I said, I like him a lot. It's that he's supposed to play a much younger character. To put someone who is clearly older, even if he's in top shape, into a role that's even addressed as young man, it's just odd. But it's not just that. His character's most distinct characteristic seems to be that he doesn't know anything. In a fantasy horror environment like this, it's normal that your protagonist has to deal with an unknown situation, but the sheer amount of moments where Nick Morton, that's his name, is asking "what?" is ridiculous. His other attribute is that he's kind of a douchebag, and the movie tries to establish this arc that deep down he's a good guy after all. For me, that didn't work, and everything that came with it neither. The relationship between him and Annabelle Wallis' character Jenny couldn't be more shallow. There is zero chemistry between them, and her character is also absolutely useless. All she ever does is bring Nick to a certain place, and then she becomes a damsel in distress a dozen times. But those two characters are still not the biggest problem of the movie. This was written by 3 different guys with yet 3 other different guys credited for the screen story. It's a mess. Not that it's super confusing or anything like that, but tonally it's all over the place. It tries to be very dark with some very gruesome monster effects, and 1 second later it attempts to make fun of it, and it falls completely flat. It wants to do horror and yet be a modern action movie. It mixes ancient curses with superhero elements. It doesn't succeed in any direction. There is no heart to it, there's no romance, no sense of adventure, no spirit, and absolutely no suspense whatsoever. It's also put together like a sloppy mess. We start with the big exposition. The remains of crusaders have been found in London, and then there is a tale of an ancient Egyptian princess that was mummified alive. It's all narrated by Russell Crowe's character Dr. Jekyll, who is assumedly supposed to hold this shared universe together.
Who are you? I'm a doctor.
A little bit like Nick Fury, but he's not really integrated all that well, and his secret organization named Prodigium comes across as laughably ridiculous. So after that prologue we get an action set piece that introduces Nick Morton and his sidekick Chris, played by Jack Johnson. They play it like a goofy buddy movie just with no emotions and no chemistry. What remains are stupid jokes and an annoying character that soon turns into some form of American Werewolf in Paris reference. After that action scene we get more exposition, then another action scene, more exposition, action scene, exposition. It feels like the movie is constantly starting all over again. Several times they even showed little moments that just happened a few minutes ago, like the audience must be stupid. And yet at the same time the plot that involves some magic infinity stone, kind of, is so uninspired that you forget what the actual god of the mummy was halfway into the movie. The storytelling is really bad and the dialogues are worse. The action itself can't save the movie either. While I like the zero gravity scene when the airplane is going down, most of the time it's generic running away from generic zombie creatures or generic sand and dust storms. Finally, the end kills what little was left at that point. No emotion, it's unintentionally funny, and of course they spent the last minutes teasing this big, supposedly fun and adventurous new cinematic universe. But this monster was never alive in the first place. They should have kept this under wraps. It was doomed from the start. The project is cursed. Someone sucked all life out of it. It would have helped if they had given it to a director who has directed more than one mediocre drama before. Rarely before was I so eager to see if people will go see it this weekend. I think there's a realistic possibility the dark universe will be driven out of cinemas with torches and pitchforks before it has even fully emerged. In German I'd say ein Desaster biblischen Ausmaßes. I give The Mummy 3.5 out of 10. It's more like 3.4, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it. Like always, comment below, let me know what you think about The Mummy. And also let me know what's your favorite Universal classic monster movie. Mine's Bride of Frankenstein. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.